Rockstar Gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button, hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe. Feel free to get in the comments. We've already got people in the comments. I'm actually trying something new, man. I'm actually streaming on Twitch right now, too. So, I'm streaming on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. We're all over the place. We're all over the place. Rockstar Report is all over the place. Damn, a night show. Badass. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Maybe the night shows might be the move, man. The night shows might be the move. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. I really think that the move is the afternoon shows where when I was going live at 12 o'clock, but my schedule's all over the place. So I kind of just go live when I can. Quote of the day: every day is an opportunity disguised as a challenge. Tiki Barber. All right. So we're streaming over on Twitch, and I'm still learning how to mess around with that over here. I've never done any of I've never streamed on Twitch before. So it's new to me. But it's all good. It's a start, right? So obviously you guys are already commenting on the Q&A, and we got a poll question up. We got a lot of good stuff up there already. Getting some people in here as they come in. Make sure leave a comment on both of those. We're definitely going to be talking about that and more. All right, we're definitely going to be talking about that and more. So guys, make sure you pound the like button, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate everyone in here. Jadarius, Corey, Ruffin, Chris, Raw Walk. Appreciate everyone in the live stream and in the chat. I appreciate it. Okay. So let's get this pulled up. All right, the Brian Burns situation. Well, y'all know how I feel about it. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of reliving it, but I want to make it. I think that we're kind of raking it up and smelling it again, even though we probably don't need to. You know what I mean? We probably don't need to. I wouldn't say we need to rake this up and smell it again, but here we are. You know what I mean? Here we are. It's a tough situation. Talk about the Brian Burns situation. I'll be honest. It's tough because when you trade a player at the caliber of Brian Burns, because I do think Brian Burns is a good player, but do I think he's to the did I think that he was to the caliber that everybody thought he was? Maybe compared to other Panthers fans, probably not. Did I think he's an elite pass rusher? No, I did not. Right? I just didn't. Right? And there's reasons why that, but I will say, trading a guy like Brian Burns is never easy, right? Elite pass rushers are rare, and you typically do everything in your possible to keep those type of guys, right? But the Carolina Panthers had to make a tough decision. But the right decision was to trade Brian Burns. And I want to make it clear as to why it was a smart move. First off, not committing $30 million or more per year to Brian Burns freed up a significant cash for Panthers to address other critical needs, right? Because the financial flexibility of that move allowed this team and our GM to go out there and improve the interior of the offensive line and sign guys like Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt. It also enabled the Panthers to secure and extend Derek Brown through 2028 who is the better defensive player, in my opinion, right? I will say having a star like Burns off the edge is great. It's meaningless if Bryce Young, though, your quarterback, and it doesn't matter if it's Bryce Young, okay? I'm saying even if it wasn't Bryce Young right now, if it was any other quarterback, still to keep those guys upright. It's all about keeping more quarterback upright in this league. That's the prioritization now in the NFL. It's not about having the it's not about having, yeah, I mean, an elite edge rusher, sure, does help. But what is the NFL known for? It's a pass league. It's a passing league. The quarterback position is the most important position on the field. And if you can't keep your quarterback upright, you're not going to win a lot of football games. So the Panthers went out and prioritized protecting their quarterback over re-signing Brian Burns. They wanted to turn this franchise around. They wanted to improve the offensive line. Simple as that. Because the Panthers then passing group is actually deeper than what it is in previous years. They adopted the Moneyball approach. If you ever watch Moneyball, the movie, great baseball movie. I think one of probably top 5 best baseball movies of all time. They literally took that same approach in the movie, aiming to replicate Burns' production with multiple players rather than one. Now, again, we got to remember Burns only hit double-digit sacks. And that was one season. We brought in a guy that had the same amount of sacks. Granted, he had Daniel Hunter on the other side of him. You bring in a Jadeveon Clowney, who's 31 years old, but had 9.5 sacks. And you got a Kayvon Chasen, who was a 2020 first overall pick, 20th pick out of LSU, who had 9.5 sacks his last year at LSU. I think it was 9.5 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. But you go get him, and can maybe Evero can turn him back to what he was or was supposed to be when he was drafted in the first round. Because interestingly enough, despite having fewer opportunities, Burns finished last season again with only 1.5 fewer sacks than Clowney, but had the same total as G.J. Wanu. And the combined that hit for the new trio, those 3 guys, $12.6 million. That's significantly less than what Burns alone would cost. But we want to have these baby back bitches, and I'm sorry. I'm done being Mr. Nice Guy on this channel. I'm tired of turning the other cheek because we got too many trolls with some baby back bitches out there that were crying over Brian Burns. Just like you know, if you want to call people bisexuals, whatever you all want to call people who worship Bryce. You know, I don't worship anybody. I only worship the man upstairs. But I'll tell you, I'll say this. We got to get people who worship Brian Burns too. But nobody would ever call those people out either. But again, that approach, though, back to that, the approach provides more depth and versatility at a fraction of the price. At a fraction of the price. A significant fraction of the price. Like, y'all got to make it make sense. Because it's not, it's worth noting that the fact that trading Burns might have been smoother for fans if the team had accepted an offer from, well, not the team, Scott Fitter. Let's be honest. That's Scott Fitter's fault. When he was offered 2 first-round picks 2 years ago from the LA Rams for Brian Burns and turned him down. It's not the team's fault. It's Scott Fitterer's fault. But the Panthers, however, the Panthers managed to land a second-round pick, luckily enough, at least, which helped recoup a second-round pick in 2025, provided additional leverage to move up and then select running back Jonathan Brooks. But I will say this: the Carolina also could have re-signed Brian Burns a long time ago for a cheaper price too. It wasn't just the LA trade that they missed out on. They also missed out on the window to sign him. They could have signed him for a cheaper deal. But they didn't. Thanks to Scott Fitterer. So I will say that. I will say that to the Brian Burns situation. So I will say, I think anytime you trade a guy to the caliber of Brian Burns, it's always a difficult situation. It's always a difficult decision. But it allowed the Panthers to strengthen their offensive line, deepen their pass rush group, and be financially flexible. Those moves collectively alone give the Panthers a better chance, in my opinion, to succeed. Making that trade was a smart move overall. Jalen Levitt, I know. It never made sense to me either, brother. It never made sense to me. It never made sense to me. I can see why it's a difficult move. Don't get me wrong. I do see why it's a difficult move, because I will say, again, it's tough. It is tough, right? To just trade away a guy to his caliber. I will say Brian Burns, I do think, is a great player. And I truly mean that. But you know, it just doesn't work out that way every single time. You know what I mean? You know, so here we are. Here we are. Guys, wherever you're watching, make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button. Welcome to the channel. We're just getting started, man. We're just getting started. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Some people have more invested in the name value than the damn team. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, again, it's a smart move overall, guys. You can see the significance of it. You signed 3 pass rushers to add depth in that room, and you signed them, all 3 of them, for $12.6 million. I mean, that's a fair question. I think you could ask yourself: would you rather sign Brian Burns for the $30 million, or would you rather have 3 guys that completely adds depth to adds depth to the depth chart in that position for the 12.6? That's the question. John Harbaugh, I agree. I hear you. I can't say that I can't say I disagree with you, but what I am saying from a financial standpoint, would you rather have the 3 guys, or would you rather just have the 1? And you spend only $12.6 million for the 3 and $30 million per year for the 1. You take your pick on that. I think you can make a case. I think there's a good case there. You know what I mean? So I appreciate everyone in here. Hope everyone's having a good night. Hope everyone's having a good week. Any plans for the weekend? I know that's uh you know that's here. Any plans for the weekend, guys? All right, let's move on. Sound off in the comments. Burns should be in a Rams or a Bears jersey. I hope it keeps Tepper up at night. John Harbaugh again. It's like I said. Well, I can also think you can make the case too that John Harbaugh that Burns should be in a Panthers jersey because they should have re-signed him a long time ago and stopped messing around with his money. Right? I mean, Brian Burns could still be on this team, and you wouldn't have gotten the situation of having to fork out $30 million to keep him. I think you can make the case on that. But I do agree with those. I think you can say he could be in 3 jerseys right now. I think if Panthers were smart a while back with the whole Burns situation, since we're still on the Burns thing, we'll move on to the next one after or once we're done with this. Because I want to get y'all, because y'all can sound off in the comments on this topic because I want to interact with you guys. But again, if we're smart on this, he's in a Rams jersey right now. I think you take those 2 first-round picks in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Burns was good, but not elite, so I never got that attached to him as a player. Fair. He was elite in Wilkes' year. I think that was for sure his best year. For sure. Right? Definitely his best year. Definitely his best year. We trade Brian Burns, keep Rule for the season. We naturally get number 1 pick and keep all our assets plus 2 Rams first for Burns. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. I don't get it. I don't think I ever will get it. I don't think a lot of people realize that, honestly. I really don't. I really don't think a lot of people get what you just said there. It's crazy. I'm trying to get my Twitch still set up over here while we're talking about this. But Derek Brown, though, I would have been mad as hell if they didn't straighten that situation out. I mean, I knew they would. I mean, I knew that I kind of figured they were going to re-sign Derek Brown. I thought they were going to re-sign Derek Brown and Frankie Luvu, but Frankie Luvu chose to go elsewhere. It's crazy how we had 4 blue chip players, all 26 and below: Burns, Moore, CMC, Brown, and all we have left is Brown. It's called poor upper management, John. It's called thank you. That you can thank, if anybody you can thank in this is David Tepper and Scott Fitter. Mainly Scott Fitter, but you can thank David Tepper for meddling in football operations, right? You can thank him for that, right? So, That's what I have to say to that. I mean, you can thank him for that. Those are your culprits. Twitch is crazy, man. Never done this. I don't see it as a fleece because the new front office wasn't around when the GM was and the owner was making stupid damn decisions. Hassan Reddick was also a blue chip pass rusher who we let walk as well. Yeah, well, I don't know if I would. I mean, I agree, right? But honestly, seeing what he's done to the New York Jets right now and lying everything, I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't. I could care. I think that I'm okay. You know what I mean? I think I'm okay. Shit, I would argue Luvu's a blue chip player who will shine with Dan Quinn also. I think he will, John. I think Frankie Luvu is going to do great in that system and Dan Quinn. I think he's going to do great. Yeah, man, those win now moves, but not have a win now team years all through. So much stress, man. It is so stressful. It's very stressful. It's very stressful. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. That's a good. It's always a good conversation when the chat gets involved. I love it. Love when the chat gets involved. In these things. So why Bryce Young has the most? He has the most to prove in 2024. This is a pivotal year for Bryce Young, guys. I don't know how much you really realize that. I don't really realize or know how much of you actually realize that. Bradley Locker came out. He's a contributor for the Pro Football Focus. He recently included Young in a list of players with the most to prove. Heading into this season, right? I mean, despite being only in his second year, I think Young's performance last year is definitely under a lot of scrutiny, right? I think a lot of people have scrutinized his play for sure. You know what I mean? I'll say that I think the 2024 there is, I don't know if it's make or break, right? I don't know if it's make or break. Most of the time, people say, and I've even heard analysts say this. I can't remember who said this. There was an analyst. He's a quarterback guru guy. I think it was actually, what's his name, who's been very good as an analyst at calling out the quarterbacks and saying, these guys aren't. God, who's the guy that predicted that Johnny Manziel was going to be good? Chris, I agree, but he didn't see it that way, unfortunately. Who's the guy that predicted? Who's the quarterback guru that predicts he said that CJ Stroud was going to be better than Bryce, which he seemed to be right on that. I didn't even know this was a night during the week that it's all mine. I didn't know that there was no other Panthers fan streamers on right now. Plus, we're trying something new with Twitch tonight. Trying something new with Twitch. Nah, not quite elite. Guys, who's the analyst in the chat? Can you sign off in the chat? Who's the analyst that predicted Johnny Manziel wasn't going to be good? What's his name? Sign up in the comments. Anyway, but they're in it. I mean, Bryce Young in his rookie year faced significant challenges after significant challenges, right? His 52.3 passer grade was the lowest among the 25 quarterbacks who dropped back 400 or more times. What was even more concerning is he had more turnover worthy plays than big time throws, which 22 such plays, and just 3 shy of his entire college career at Alabama. So again, we all need to understand that the struggle wasn't entirely his fault, right? He dealt with unreliable receivers, unstable offensive line that saw 15 different starters between the guard positions. An offensive line that was so unstable, guys. An offensive line that saw 15 different starters between the guard positions. And a coaching staff who failed miserably to provide any cohesive strategy. So the NFL is results driven league, especially for a number 1 overall pick like Bryce Young. Here's the thing. I do think things look more promising now because they've made clear upgrades at the receiver, the interior line position. Canales brings a unified vision, and everybody in that locker room and the upper management actually seem all on the same page, which means that the improvements means that the pressure is on Bryce Young, though, to deliver. I will say that. They're giving you every opportunity, Bryce, to be successful. They're giving you and tried for you to show that his rookie struggles were just growing pains, right? Because if other young quarterbacks like CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, if those guys continue to improve while Young doesn't, that criticism will intensify. However, if Young can channel his Heisman winning ways that he was like in Alabama, he can set himself on the path to success and ease those worries of the Panthers fans. He has a lot to prove to me, and I think our fan base too, in this year. You have a better team around you. The lessons you learn from the lessons from your tough rookie year. He has a solid chance to show why he was a top pick in the draft, right? Because last year was rough. No doubt about it. The hefty price we paid for Bryce Young didn't yield immediate return that we were hoping for, like a CJ Stroud. We were hoping for this kid to take the top off. And then the Bears go and snag Caleb Williams with our first round pick. Big thanks to Scott Fitter, right? But there's no time for regrets. We can't have regrets here. You have to think about looking forward and seeing how the Panthers can bounce back. And so what's the game plan, right? You bring in this, what's the game plan, right? Because Dave Canales, they hired Dave Canales to be that breath of fresh air, right? Because you had disappointments with Matt Rule, Frank Wright. I feel like Canales as a coach, I don't know how about you guys feel, but I feel like he brings a promising approach, right? Working with Geno Smith, revamping him, Baker Mayfield, revamping him. Those kinds of things should bring confidence to you as a fan, and especially in those who are worried about Bryce Young, plus keeping Evero as your defensive coordinator is huge, right? Young got sacked 62 times. Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, they're going to help there, right? You bring in these veterans to protect Young. We watch them in the blueprint. We like what we see and hear from these guys. It's about Dan Morgan literally giving Bryce Young at this point now just a fighting chance. It's a fighting chance. And it's because every time you think about Bryce, I mean, how many, put some hands up in the chat on how many of you guys, when you think about Bryce Young, do you ever think about CJ Stroud? I'm just curious. Do you ever think about CJ Stroud when you think about Bryce Young? Because I think a lot of people do, because a lot of people do the comparisons. I would say to those that think that way, let's be real. Not even Patrick Mahomes, I think, could have thrived with last year's Panthers offense. Sacked 62 times. I think you got to give Young a season with Canales now and an improved offensive line, better weapons before we write him off. Sometimes you just need to chill. I think sometimes you just need to chill. And I think a lot of people don't. Because you got to think about the non-important players that they added too, like the non-important QB players besides Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt. You got to think about Deontay Johnson, the route running machine, Xavier Legette, the home run hitter. You traded Deontay Johnson from Pittsburgh. You gave rookie Legette out of South Carolina in the draft, right? Those are going to be some key players to watch it this season. Johnson's role definitely going to be crucial despite his recent touchdown drought last year. Legette could quickly rise to that wide receiver 3. I don't see him being wide receiver 1 or 2 in his first year. I think wide receiver 3, that's the peak of this year, right? But he can make some exciting plays. I mean, this guy, I watched Legette. He could be a guy that could easily score a touchdown and surprise you, right? And I think you're going to see Legette probably have some opportunities on special teams too, right? But the success not only relies on Bryce Young, but it relies on this team showing progress. It's not about Super Bowl or bust for the Panthers, right? The main goal here is to see if Bryce can thrive in this new system that Canales has set. Because we just want, I think if I'm speaking for everyone, or if I'm speaking for Panthers fans alike, I would say that the Panthers fans would just want to be competitive and want to win some games. I think that's the measure of success this year. Nothing else. Mayor Hodge. Thank you, Jadarius. That's that was the analyst I was talking about. Skip Bayless. Who's Skip Bayless? Or I know who Skip Bayless is, but why'd you say Skip Bayless? All right, let's move on. Appreciate everyone in here. Make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button. Everyone that's in here, I greatly appreciate it. And whether you're watching on Twitter, YouTube, or Twitch now, do me a favor, drop a follow. Guys, go follow me on Twitch. I would greatly appreciate that. It's the same thing over there. Actually, no, it's called it's actually Roppstar92_. That's what it is, actually. So go follow me over there. I greatly appreciate that too over on Twitch. Skip Bayless loves him some Baker. Oh, for sure. Jadarius, you can never Skip Bayless should never be um should never be allowed to talk sports after that comment. But it is what it is. It is what it is. He should never be let down of that too. He should never be let down of that. All right, Jonathan Mingo. Let's turning over to the wide receiver room. That was a big part, obviously, for the Panthers' plans this offseason. I think we can all agree to that. Obviously, you want to give Bryce Young some more downfield threats. Bunch of new faces, some returning players. I think Jonathan Mingo stands out as a key piece to this strategy. I do. All right. That we made significant moves, right, in that wide receiver room. Deontay Johnson, drafting Xavier Legette, right? But you let DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault leave in free agency. I think we can all agree we are fine with that. I think they are counting on Mingo, who was last year's second-round pick, to step up. You drafted Mingo at number 39. He was envisioned to have a long, productive career with Bryce Young, right? His rookie season was ups and downs. He started 14 games, caught 43 passes for over 400 yards, didn't score a touchdown, had a 50.6 catch percentage. One of the lowest among receivers in the NFL. He was also, when he was the first route, right? Bryce's first route look, when he was the first route look, 25% of the time he was open. Second worst in the NFL. I'm just stating facts here, guys. I will say this. I'm trying to stay optimistic and hoping for improvement for this kid, right? Because he's come out, he's been vocal saying he believes in his abilities and is focused on improving his game. And that was in a recent interview during minicamp. So he doesn't seem too concerned with whatever I fucking say or whatever other media critics say. He's always betting on himself, basically, and he plans on doing so. Kudos to him. But I've had my doubts before about Mingo. Even when I watched his tape at Ole Miss. I mean, I will say this. Coming into Ole Miss after A.J. Brown, those are some massive shoes you have to fill. And especially just to maintain your confidence and work ethic, right? But the route running and development that's where I question him, because his route running last year was terrible. He says that those concerns were overblown, but to me, when you're the first read and you're only getting open 25% of the time, and your catching percentage is 50.6%, you're in the top 10 worst categories among receivers. It's hard for me not to question. And I get that maybe he acknowledges that being a receiver involves many factors beyond his control, like protection and coverage. Okay, fair. And I appreciate the fact that he's committed to improving his game, for sure. Right? But it does make me question it a little bit. Now, I am going to give him I'm going to back off and not be on him as hard, because if I'm not going to be as hard on Bryce, or if I'm not going to be on Icky, and I'm not going to be hard on Miles Sanders or whoever else, and I'm willing to give those guys second chance, I got to give Mingo a second chance, right? So they revamped this wide receiver room. Adam Thielen, still here. You bring in Deontay Johnson. You drafted Leggett. There is that supportive environment for Mingo in this offense. So the different strengths from each player in this wide receiver room that they bring and learn from both old and new coaches, that's a lot of value, I'll say. Right? Because last year, I gotta be fair to every player that played on this team last year. That's still here. I have to. Because last year was so chaotic, man. Right? So chaotic. Coaching changes, struggling offense, meddling owner, Hunger Games, so on and so forth. We could create a checklist based off of that. It didn't help Mingo's development whatsoever. However, he focused on personal growth, trying to build some chemistry with Young. They plan to work together this summer, right? Because and along with training sessions with Thielen. But of course, Young is going to do what Andy Dalton has done in the past, where down in Texas, he has those summer workouts, right? So Bryce is going to do that. I will say Mingo did dealt with a foot injury last season. He managed it carefully, trying to avoid those serious injuries, fully healed, ready to go. So I think I will say this. I do think Mingo will make some significant strides this season. I think we're going to see a lot of significant strides in a lot of players, just because of Canales. That's how I'm more confident in Canales than anybody, right? Because I think we've got something there with Canales. I do. I believe in Coach Canales just because of the way his football knowledge is, how he approaches the game, how he approaches the players, how he treats everyone. And maybe it's because I soak up that positivity, because I try to be a positive person. I try to be an optimistic person. But I think with the positive mindset, this revamped wide receiver room, strong work ethic, I think Jonathan Mingo can prove himself and contribute in this offense. I'm here late afternoon. Sean, you're always in here late afternoon. Clay, my guy, what's good, fam? Sorry for getting here late. We had awards for baseball today. All is well. Nice. Marcos, what's good, fam? Facts, Rock Jones. Clay speaking facts from I think Mingo and Team J will both have a big jump from last year. I got my money on Team J. Damn ads. Sean, I love it. But Clay, how do I get a blue star, Clay? That's a real question. Blue star. Where's a blue star? Oh, you got to become a member, Sean. You got to become a member. You don't have to become a member, but if you want to, I appreciate it, Sean. I appreciate it. He didn't want to be here unless he got 30 million. We're good. Lomax, my man. My man. All right, Adam Thielen on the Rich Eisen show. I don't know if y'all got to see this interview. How? If you go to the channel, it'll ask you to join. It'll ask you to join. It'll ask you to join. You should be good. Oh, here we go. Oh, well, Sean, it should, if you go to my channel or click the link, see where, if you go into the description of the live stream here, where it says, if you click on the more you see the more, there's a join channel here. I got you, Sean. I got you, Sean. So, Sean, go into this. See this here? You hit more. You click this. It'll take you to it, and you can become a member right there. See? Join this channel. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's so weird, kind of like looking at myself that way. All right. I want to get into this interview. So the reason why I want to bring this up is so Adam Thielen kind of disses on the Panthers offseason because he comes out and talks about players were cut for not being in shape, right? He basically comes on here, and we're going to watch it though, but I want to give you some insight here. He gives some insights about the team's offseason program, right? And he mentioned the idea of how the offseason workouts were restructured. And so he has expressed his support on for a tighter schedule that aligns more closely with the training camp. And he emphasized that the NFL's competitive nature demands players stay in top shape year round, and noted that the Panthers players who returned out of shape after the offseason didn't last long on the roster. All right. So it's interesting because it's clear that staying in shape is non-negotiable even in the offseason. Oh yeah, Trebo, we've been I've been vocal about it. I think everybody in the city of Charlotte just needs to go ahead and just fork out the money. Just fork out the money. All right, here we go. You can't hear it? Damn. All right, hold on. Hold on, player. Hold on, player. Damn it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let me know if you can hear it. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. If you can hear it.
Like I question if you're from Minnesota.
Okay, very good. All right, that's Adam Thielen here. Now, are you in one of your gyms right now? Where are you? Where are you zooming in from, Adam?
Yeah, I'm here at ETS Performance, like our HQ. So good to be back here in Minnesota for a little break here for a month and training with ETS. And doing the same kind of thing that I've done my whole career, just trusting ETS and what they can do for me to get prepared for training camp. And it's always fun to get back here because I just actually was in the gym before I popped on here with you guys. There was probably about 40 kids in there, probably ages maybe 8 to 18 in there. So it was really cool thing to see them in there grinding, trying to get better. And that's why I love being around it.
So here we are in mid-June. And again, you're just mentioning you're at your ETS gym in Minnesota getting ready for training camp next month. It's entirely possible that in future years, if not maybe even next year, you could already be in some sort of an OTA and training camp right behind it, because the concept of what the off-season workout programs, how they're all laid out, could change. Would you like that? Would you like to basically start up right now and have April and May more to yourself? Adam, would you like that?
I think that it would probably extend my career a little bit. Just having the ability to just, focus on my family and training, taking care of my body, kind of having that time basically from the end of the season all the way until July 1st, I think the proposal is right now. Having that time to just truly train, prepare, and then, like I said, spend that time with my family. I think it'd probably extend my career. I'm definitely for it.
So you would be up for reconfiguring the off season to would you think that you'd need to touch base in Carolina at one point between the end of the season and July 1, or you think being left to your own devices, you're fine writ large?
Oh, more than fine. I think the way it's structured right now, I think there's a little bit of a flaw in the fact that you come back for OTAs, you kind of grind in the off season to kind of prepare for OTAs. You get to OTAs, you grind for 2.5 months or so, whatever it is. And then it's like, boom, now you have like a month and a little over a month, maybe 5-6 weeks. And you're like, well, I just grinded. I'm like ready for camp. Like on last Thursday, our last like OTA practice, mini camp, whatever you want to call it. I was like, man, like I'm feeling great. Like I'm in shape. I'm strong. I'm like ready to go. And then now I have like this month break, and like it's kind of weird, right? Like I just did all that progression. We had this really cool progression that they've kind of implemented where you kind of just ramp up towards the end, and then boom, now I have a break. And then now I come back to training camp. Here's my issue. Now you come back to training camp and it's like 0 to 100. It's like I haven't done a practice in a month and a little over a month. And then like, boom, now it's like training camp practice, like 2 practices a day, not 2 practices, but walk through practices, all this stuff. And it's like, oh, there's no ramp up. So I think the way to smartly do it is you ramp it up from July 1st. You kind of slowly ramp up, or you can just kind of work out together, start to get in shape, whatever you got to do, and ramp it up all the way to like actual training camp starting at the end of July. And then now here we go. Let's get ready for the season. And here we go.
Here's a couple of pushbacks, Adam. And again, I'm not saying this in terms of this is what I agree with. This is just what I hear. Okay. One pushback is you're a vet. You're fine with downtime. You can handle your business downtime. There are some other players that don't handle their downtime as well as somebody like yourself and need some form of a structure, not like go work out by yourself between February and July 1st, and that they're going to show up in the same manner that you are a longtime professional would show up. And so there is some structure that is needed. What would you say to that?
I'd say it's pretty simple. Today's day and age, today's NFL, it's so competitive. If you are not getting to the grindstone right away after the season's done, figuring out a plan to become a better player, you're going to get cut. And there's plenty of guys out there that can do your job and can do it at a high level if they take care of themselves and are.
In the NFL, let's be honest, this is a league that is about what have you done for me lately? That is the NFL. Think about that. It's about what have you done for me lately? That's how the NFL works. I'm just saying.
Training hard and taking care of their bodies, their minds. There's so many guys now that do the extra stuff, that have a nutritionist, that have their own guy that's helping train them, that has a body guy that's helping them kind of get back to 100% from the season before and then actually get better. So I think it's just the NFL has gotten so competitive that you can't not work out. Even right now, right? Like when guys come back to OTAs and they're out of shape and they haven't done anything, they're getting cut. Like there was a few guys that aren't on the Panthers anymore that came back, they were out of shape. You could tell they haven't done anything and they're not there anymore. Like that's just the reality. So I just don't see that an issue. And if it is an issue, like we'll find someone else.
And now the other pushback would be that play is choppy enough in September because the general sense is there's one fewer preseason game. And if we're going to be taking practices in April and May away, or at least May and June away, that, with the rules and being able to put in pads and things of that nature, that practice time will be lost. And that will wind up in the pudding when it's time to play for real. What do you say about that, Adam?
I think that's the beauty of progressing right into training camp. You're not taking the month off. You're not taking a break of 5-6 weeks where guys go to Mexico and go do things, whatever, and then you have to come back and play football like instantly. So I think that's easily figured out by the way that you're just progressing right into training camp. You're not losing any practices because you're just doing it, instead of doing it in April and May, you're doing it in July, and you can get just as much done in that time and progress right into training camp, be at full speed right when you start training camp. So I just think it's a great way to get in line with all the other pro sports. I don't think any other, I know there's no other pro sports organization that has off-season workouts. No, they just go to training camp and they get ready and they go. And just like, I being here at ETS over the years, I've trained with baseball guys. We've had hockey, NHL guys where you see what they do in the off season. They come in here, they work out, then they go do their ice time or they go do their baseball stuff. And then they're getting ready for training camp. They go to training camp and they go right into the season. I just think that that's a smart way to do it. I think you avoid hamstring issues, soft tissue issues by training and a progression, everyone together in the same system from July 1st all the way to that first game. So
last one for you. By the way, I didn't expect to go this deep on this subject matter with you, Adam, but you clearly have an opinion and you're there in your gym. So you're in this portion of the workout calendar for yourself. Are you talking to your fellow players? Are you in the majority? Is your opinion a majority of the players about reconfiguring the offseason?
That's a great question. I don't really know. I haven't really talked to too many people. Honestly, it's probably the most I've talked about it.
How about it? Okay.
And so I don't really know, but again, I just think like logically, I think it makes sense. I've talked to a few people that are on the other side of it, whether it be coaches or people in the building that maybe like at first were like, no, that's my month. Like that's how it's always been. Like that's when they get time off. But my argument to that is like, well, why not just take the month of June off for them? Like your draft's over. You've already got your young, maybe it's year 0 draft picks, whatever, to year 3 guys that have been in there for a quick 2-week mini camp or something. You've had some time with them. Now you coaches, staff, everyone who normally gets that break in July, just take it in June. And then we start the ground.
Yeah, I mean, Thielen's right though about one thing, that the players have gotten to the point that they're already working out during their time away from the team, and that's something that may factor into departures for Carolina this spring. But it's already proven that guys who aren't working out before it comes to the OTAs or comes to the mini camps, that they're going to get cut because they're out of shape. And I'm not surprised by that. You should be, I get it. Take some time off. But a month before you got to come back to minicamp, especially if you're not a for sure thing, right? If you're not a for sure locked in player or starter on that team, you damn well know your ass should be out on some field somewhere, kicking your ass and grinding. I mean, that's why Thielen's 33 years old and he's still a starter because he takes care of his body. But he's right. But I think the idea of the offseason restructure workouts, and Thielen's right. The tighter schedule, I think, is a good idea because it does align more closely with the training camp. But the NFL is so competitive, man. You got to think about how you're going to be better than the next guy, or how you're going to outsmart, and how much more physical, how much more faster, how much more, you can't be going into training camp after you've coming off the couch eating a bag of Doritos and thinking, oh, I'm good, man. My God-given talent is just going to work out for me. No, it's not how it works. Nature always wins, though, because nature demands players to stay in top shape year in and year out, right? I know that from being a collegial athlete. Now, I wasn't a football player, but I played in college. I was an athlete in college. I had to get up every morning as a tennis player for Coastal Carolina University. I had to get up every single morning at 5 a.m. to get ready for a 6 a.m. 5-mile run. Now, Clay does not. I'm going to be honest, Clay does not get up at 5 a.m. anymore, nor does he run at 6 o'clock in the morning, nor does he run 5 miles. Now, he runs, but he don't run no 5 miles. So let's get that straight. But I never returned off with my time off in college, which I barely ever had time off anyways. I never was to try to get out of shape. But yeah, I took some time off. I had some vacations, some family vacations. But I knew that I was going to have to come back and stronger than ever than I was before. And get better and still put the work in. Any sports like that, though. So I'm surprised that people, it surprises to me that people don't stay in shape, because I feel like when it comes to pro sports, no matter what sport you're in, it's non-negotiable, right? Even in the off season, you should still be trying to put the work in. Like, I think that was the reason why I liked Kobe so much, because if they didn't win the championship, right, he was still working in the off season. Always. Never stopped. I'm sure he probably took a week vacation here or there, but I'm sure he still was working out on those vacations at least a little bit. I don't know. But not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised by some of that. By some of Adam Thielen.
I'm running in July.
Here.
Adam Thielen here on the Rich Eisen Show. Fresh.
All right. So training camp coming up. Obviously, here's the schedule. I don't know if y'all got to see it yet. Here's the training camp schedule. Obviously, FanFest, if you don't know, is going to be at Clemson University. I can't remember the last time the Carolina Panthers played at Clemson University. I don't remember the last time they played at Clemson University. I know it's been a long time. So FanFest is going to be at Clemson University there on August 1st. But what I do know is that all the training camps for the Carolina Panthers are going to be open to the public and free. At least that's what I was told. I don't know if that is correct or not, but that's what I was told. So, let's see. And then, okay, so it's going to be, these are the locations. See if I can make this bigger. Hold on. I'm going to try to make this bigger. There we go. So practice field, Bank of America, practice field, and of course, Fan Fest. All right. Trying to make that smaller. We got anything else in here? Zach's always updating. See, Zach's always updating me with some craziness. Look at over here putting that work in. All right. Yeah. Guys, that is it for tonight. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tomorrow, Fan Fridays, Fan Discussion Fridays. Join the Discord. Get your Friday fan discussions. So if you join the Discord, let me share my screen. Let me add this back. Okay. You see right above me here, there's Fan Discussion Fridays. See where I clicked it? Join the Discord. Put any questions. Put any topics you want to talk about. I'm going to talk about the state of the Carolina Panthers tomorrow. I think that's where I'm going to go. That's one of the topics I want to talk about. The state of the Carolina Panthers. But get your questions or topics in here. You can join the Discord. It's free, guys. So you don't have to worry about it. Make sure you guys follow me also on Twitter, TikTok, or Instagram. Also, Twitch. We started using Twitch tonight. I just felt like trying it out. You got to start somewhere over on the Twitch channel or the Twitch world. So 0 followers over there. So I appreciate the follows. And make sure you show your support on the TikTok because I'm always posting on there. I'm always posting up shorts or something. So appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Thank you so much. Joining me late at night here, 9:30 at night. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank you for continuing showing your support. We're on the road to 6K. So make sure we get those hit that subscribe button on your way out. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. And if you're watching on Twitter, come on to the YouTube channel and Twitch and show your support there. That's the best way you can do it. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.